Hello and welcome to the channel and welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name's Banana Warrior Princess, otherwise known as Emma, and today I'm going to talk about Jacko Vegano. Yeah, I haven't really talked a lot about ex-vegans on this channel other than the Tim Sheaf video I did. I'll put a link here. Yeah, a few things prompted me to make this video. I never really thought that I would make videos like this, but I don't know, just a few things prompted me to make this video. I think it's because, I don't know, I kind of identify with Jackson a little bit, and this isn't a video that's going to be slating Jackson at all. It's just, I just want to get some things off of my mind and just share them with you, and maybe this is the way forward for my channel as well, just being open and honest about how I feel about stuff and not letting it cause me anxiety to do that. So yeah, up until now, you know, we've had really big public figures in the vegan movement who have turned their backs on veganism, and I think with Jacko it's different. Obviously he's a smaller channel. I haven't really watched that much of his content because I don't know, like I'm not really into his humour or kind of style, but I get why people do like him and are into his content, and that's absolutely fine. Like you know, I've watched a few of his videos, and you know, he makes some fairly decent content, especially for, you know, new vegans that are interested in like transitioning with the new vegan products that are coming out all the time in supermarkets and on the high street. You know, is trying all these different new vegan junk food options, which, you know, it's exciting to try these new things, and I've found that myself. Like it's really exciting when something new comes out, like the new vegan Subway or the Beyond Burger. You know, these foods are not healthy. They're not promoting any kind of healthy lifestyle, and if you're gonna eat these things all the time, they will have a detriment to your health. They will make you feel unwell the next day. They are going to cause bloating. They are going to perhaps give you diarrhea, and you're going to be on the toilet constantly if you eat them a lot, okay? Which I think Jacko, if he's true to himself, you know, he did eat them a lot, let's be honest. I don't know a lot about his story other than following other videos that I've seen on YouTube about his story and what's led up to this point where he's come out of this video turning his back on veganism. Or I think the title of the video was "Why I Don't Think Veganism is the Answer." Now, I don't really want to go into the details, the finer details of, you know, each point he made and debunk it, because I don't really feel that's really necessary in this context. All I'll just say is, although this is really vague, like, I don't think he really made any specific point in that video that debunks veganism or why it's not the answer. I mean, I'm happy to discuss that with Jackson if he wanted to do that, but I think at the moment, just by watching that video and piecing together, you know, things that I've heard from other videos, although I don't know how much of it is true, it seems like his mental health is not the best at the moment. Coming from my personal, you know, coming from just thinking about my own personal experience with anxiety, I can see how that would have a detriment on his mental health at the moment, especially, like, I can't stress this enough, especially if you are using alcohol as a way to block those feelings of anxiety and insecurity. It's only going to really, I can't stress this enough, this is only going to exacerbate your own insecurities and make you a lot more vulnerable to things that, you know, perceptions and thoughts and things that are going to come into you. You're going to invite a lot more shit into your brain that you would have thought that you would never have accepted had you have been in a much more rational state. So yeah, this video is just me just basically waffling about anxiety and substance abuse and how it can affect one's brain, basically. And I've seen some things online as well where I've seen that Tim Sheaf is kind of trying to bring Jacko over to the dark side, which I think is, yeah, it's kind of disgusting when it's quite clear that he is in a vulnerable state at the moment. If you're eating unhealthy foods all the time and you are using alcohol to make yourself feel okay in the short term, it's not going to make you feel good long term. And it's hard to think about what's going to be good for you in the future. It's harder to commit to a healthy lifestyle and to commit to your own ethical beliefs if you are feeling shit in the here and now. It's really hard to do that. And it's like substance abuse and alcohol abuse is a really, really hard habit to break. Now, I am not going to talk about my own experiences too much on this video because I don't feel like I'm ready to do that. But all I will say is that I do empathise with Jackson right now, and I think the vegan movement just does not need to get on his back about this as much as they have with, you know, these higher profile figures that we've seen, like Raw Alignment, Tim Sheaf, what's her name? I can't, you know, like I didn't even follow these channels really before they turned their backs on veganism, so I don't really care that much for these kinds of figures anyway. It seems like Jackson was more of an ethical vegan than a health vegan, so it does come as a bit more of a shock to learn that he has turned his back on veganism. And the other thing is, with when you're in this kind of vulnerable state, and you're a lot more accepting of these weird ideas because you can't really think clearly in that moment. Things like thinking about suffering to other beings and you know, ethics aren't really in the forefront of your brain when you're suffering yourself. When you're suffering yourself, like if you're really experiencing deep depression, dark thoughts, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, panic attacks, you can't see the wood for the trees. It's really hard to prioritize and commit to ethical beliefs, and you know, your values just go out the f***ing window when you can't think clearly for yourself. And although, you know, I haven't really got to that stage, I haven't got to that stage of abandoning my ethics, and I don't think I'll ever will. I can see it. I can see the slippery slope and how someone would get to that. And I just think it's terrible that people are kind of cashing in on his vulnerability right now. It would be good to reach out to him and talk to him. Like I said, I haven't really followed his channel. I know that he did a video after I did. Somebody posted me the video that he did after the whole organic as carnist thing that I did last year, 2018. So I know that he probably doesn't like me anyway because of that. But that's fine because, you know, I didn't really win many friends after that. But the whole thing has kind of yeah, it's kind of shaken me up a bit. It's kind of made me think that I really need to commit to being healthier myself. If I, if I'm going to be here in the vegan movement in the long term, and I'm not getting any younger. It's kind of taken me aback, and I thought to myself, well, and while it is exciting reviewing all these new vegan foods and trying them out, and it's really good to show these kinds of foods to non-vegans to make them realise that there's all this choice that you have. It's not really scary to take the step to be a vegan these days. That's really exciting, and it's like I can't help myself wanting to try all these new things. The other day I tried the vegan sub. That was really good. I hadn't been there for years. A couple of months ago I tried the vegan McDonald's veggie wrap meal. And the taste and the flavours that I was used to many years ago, and it was just like, this is really takes me back. It's really cool to experience that again, on the one hand, but it's not really. It doesn't do you any favours. Makes you feel shit, and that's I think where the f***ing brain fog will come from if you're eating shit. Of course, if you're going to go from eating vegan shit to then eating, meat and vegetables, your brain fog is going to have lifted. But you also have the option of not choosing the carnist food. You can just choose the healthier vegan food, and it is harder to get used to, especially if you're, junk food is just another drug. It's just another drug. It's like cocaine. It's like cannabis, all these other drugs, alcohol. It's just another thing that's going to make you feel awesome in the short term. And it's a fucking hard habit to break out of. To choose healthier foods that are going to taste bland if you don't eat them all the time. Your taste buds have to adjust, and you have to commit to eating that healthy food to get used to it, to break the cycle. It's like any habit, any habit that you break, especially with, things like exercise. If you're not used to doing it, you're going to feel shit. It's going to be hard work at first. Your body is going to say to you, stop. Your brain is going to tell you, what the fuck are you doing? Just want to sit down, catch my breath, don't do this anymore. Your body wants to get back to homeostasis. And it's all about what you're used to and what you're tolerant to. If you've built up a tolerance to shit food, alcohol, drugs, then your body will just want more of that drug to sustain how it feels. So, I don't know what else I want to say about Jacko. The one thing I admire about Jacko is, he puts himself out there. He's got a weird kind of comedy that I'm not really into, but making those videos, putting yourself out there on social media, putting yourself in the public eye is really hard. I found a lot of my anxiety myself is with, putting out these videos that I do, comes from the fact that I'm a perfectionist and I want things to be absolutely, 100% perfect before I put anything up on the channel. I'm worried about what people are going to think of me. I get stupid comments about my looks and shit like this. It's inevitable that I'm going to feel anxious, and it's inevitable that someone like Jackson is going to feel anxious about what people think of him. People, especially millennials, and I'm one, we have this fucking sense of entitlement. We have to feel validated by what people think of us. We don't like rejection. Rejection makes us feel like we're going to die, okay? This is the way we've just been brought up. We've been brought up in this commercial world where we buy things to make ourselves feel better that we don't really need. It's inevitable, and anybody that says that you can break that chain really easily, and anyone that fucking believes in free will is like, sort yourself out, mate. Because things that have led up to this point with Jackson are gonna have an impact on what he's going to do next. It's how are you gonna like in your own brain, if you're a vulnerable person, break that chain of causality? It's predetermined. Up to this point, it's probably predetermined that he was going down this path. I'm just gonna have to accept that, guys. If you're vegan and if you are giving him shit at the moment, I would recommend not to do that, because it's only going to make a vulnerable person or an anxious person want to find a sense of validity and acceptance from other sources. And do you know what those sources are going to be? They're going to be the carnivore dieters. They're going to be the ones like saying, oh, come here, try this, just try an egg, just try a bit of beef, you'll feel better. Come into our group, we'll accept you, we love you, we'll give you, views on YouTube. Oh, hey, I'm Tim Chief. Hey, bro, come onto my dark side. I'll show you love. It's inevitable. And by giving him shit, that's only gonna. It's only gonna make things. I think it's gonna. It's only gonna make things worse. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And in terms of my own anxiety, which I'll talk about now. I've kind of realised from all of this, since seeing that video, I'm going to get rejected. People are going to hate me. Since the whole kind of organic thing, I've had a lot of shit from that, and that's kind of made me even more anxious about putting out content. I think I just have to come to accept that shit's going to happen. People are going to hate. It's going to happen anyway. It's just, what do I choose to do with that information, Am I going to carry on and just be a cuck in the shadows and just not put anything out there unless it's 100% perfect and everybody agrees with it? No. You can't live your life like that. That is the entitled kind of mentality where you have to have everyone love you. That shit doesn't wash. Especially if we are going to be strong members of a vegan kind of movement. And as a vegan activist myself, I need to not feel that kind of anxiety, that kind of, it's almost like, it's like a threat of death. When you feel that anxiety, you just like, you choke up, you just like, you can't speak. You're lost for words. You can't think clearly. You use alcohol. You use substances. You use junk food to numb everything out and to feel better about yourself. And that causes you to feel worse, and then you use even more of the things that make you feel better at the moment, which then in turn make you feel worse, and it's just like an endless cycle of spiraling into depression, and it can get to really deep depression. So yeah, in terms of myself, I'm just going to have to accept that I'm not perfect and I'm still learning, and that's fine. And people want to hate on me, so be it. So that's my 2 cents on Jacko. I hope that Jacko sees this video, and if you're watching Jacko, that this totally isn't, I hope that I come across as genuine. I'm not trying to slate on you or make you feel worse. I'd love to speak to you if you're willing to, as one kind of person that kind of knows what you're going through to another, as a human being. The whole Jacko situation has really been a bit of a wake-up call to me, because I know a lot of my friends do like his channel, and I kind of identify with him, even though I don't really like his content all that much. I mean, I can appreciate why people like it, okay? I just don't really watch that many vegan channels. The only kind of channels I watch are Ask Yourself and Vegan Gains, like within the vegan sphere. That's not to say that I won't, you know, like I'm open to, if you want to put some comments down below of what, you know, who I should follow, I'm going to give it a chance, and I'd like to collaborate with a lot more YouTubers as well. So, but anyway, yeah, it shook me up a bit. It's to the point where I've actually had dreams about it. Yeah, I've had dreams about like trying an egg or trying some fish, because it seems like these carnivore dieters are trying to indoctrinate vegans into thinking that they're going to instantly feel better, and by magic they're going to cure all their problems. And you know, that's what substance abuse does to you. That's what anything that makes you feel instantly good in the moment will do to you. It will make you feel really good. Like, just try this little bit of sniff, you know, like it will make you feel fucking amazing. And it's true, it is true, but long term, it's only going to drag you down and probably have long-term consequences on your health. So yeah, what else to say? I think that's about it really for this video. So like it if you like this video. Comment down below what you think, what are your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you have sympathy for Jacko? I'd like to reach out to him if he would like to speak to me. It'll be interesting to see where his content shifts next. And you know, this is the whole point of me making this video, is because I can see the patterns of what's happened to these other ex-vegans in the past, where vegans will just deliver a shit ton of hate to these ex-vegans, and that just makes them go in the opposite direction. They want to seek love and validation from whoever's going to give that to them, and that will be the carnivore dieters, that will be the anti-vegans, and you know, we don't want that. We want a bit more of a loving, understanding kind of society. I think it'll be best for everyone. So yeah, like this video, subscribe. I'm going to upload a little bit more, probably this kind of style, because it's quick and easy to do videos like this. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.